Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Blockingdom Podcast. Now, this episode is going to be a bit different than usual. I'm only joined by Pepper today, and we don't have a topic list to talk about. It's going to be more like freestyle talking, and I want to address a few things that have been happening, and I think Pepper does as well, so yeah, that's what we'll be doing. And the first thing that I want to address is the fact that the community just doesn't like some people on the Blockingdom community. Like there's a good side and a bad side to it. Like every community you get a good side and a bad side. However, I don't know if Pepper feels the same way, but there's more bad side to Blockingdom than there is good.
Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily true there's more bad side, but I'd say there's too much of a bad side.
There's more compared to other servers, let's say.
Yeah, there's too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's led to some bad things in the past few days, like me leaving for good. I won't say what happened, but let's just say a few suspicions, strong suspicions I had about people on the server doing some things, and that led to me leaving. It just feels like the server's just going downhill.
Yeah, it's never really been going uphill, to be honest. I've been part of the server probably like 6 months longer than you have. I joined in March 2014. You joined in the summer, early fall. September, yeah. So it's about, I think it's 6 months. And I'm not going to mention any names, but from the start of the server, there were some not really kind of mean members, which can be expected, but not. There's just too many.
Yeah. I mean, from the start, the initial response that you get from joining that server is great. You know, there's some wonderful people on there, and I don't want to hurt anybody that I've met, because there are some wonderful people on Blockingdom.
Many wonderful.
There definitely is. And the same can be said when I announced that I was leaving the server. You know, the initial response was great. People respected my decision. And people were just genuinely great about it. And even Tom was okay about it. You know, I was expecting to go on Skype and receiving like a mass amount of messages saying, "Oh, stay with us, Dan. You know, don't leave," because that's kind of what Tom's like. If you're agreeing with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the response was good, and I never really had any bad messages about leaving. You know, people were always good about it, and then, you know, just recently I've just had a few hiccups and bad things.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's about me joining a new server or what. I don't know whether people are jealous. I said this to Tom. I don't know whether people are jealous or what. But I don't know.
I don't think people are jealous from things that are said. Maybe more they just feel betrayed.
Yeah. Well, I have contributed to the community a lot. I mean, you know, I started up this very podcast that we're doing. So, I don't know. Like I said, initially people respected my decision to leave.
Yeah.
However, you know, like you said, people might think I've betrayed them. So now that initial response has shifted slightly. So they don't respect it as much. And I said this to Tom. You know, no offense to Nate here, but I got a message from Nate saying, "Since you already quit Blockingdom, why are you still playing on the server?" Or in the chat. I was talking to you about this. About how it feels like I'm not wanted anymore. You know, and I said I wouldn't abandon anyone. I said I'd still talk to people in the community, and I still will. You know, I'll talk to you. Or if anyone wants to talk to me, just feel free to do that.
And then with your JFS server or JFS video, you got more dislikes than you normally do. And I mean, if you think about it logically, the only people who really have a reason to dislike that video would be blocking the members. I mean, some people from JFS might just be like, oh, he's such a horrible commentator. I'm just gonna dislike his video, but I don't know why they would dislike a video about their own server.
Yes, that could be true, and that I'm not denying that could be true, but honestly, I've only met a very few small amount of people on the JFS.
Mm-hmm.
A very few number are actually subscribed to me from the JFS.
Mm-hmm.
Only about 3 or 4, and those people that I've spoken to are genuine people. I've made friends with them, and I don't see a reason why they would dislike that video. So I think that option's out the window.
Yeah, and I don't really know why I don't really imagine that somebody would just stumble upon your video through the internet.
If it was one dislike, I'm used to getting dislikes. I had loads of dislikes on my UHC videos that I did, because that's what the community is like, the PvP community. So I'm used to it, and I said this to Tom, I don't care about the dislikes. They don't mean anything. It's the fact...
Well, yeah,
it's the fact that, it's clearly blocking the members, and like we said earlier, they clearly don't respect... Well, some people, like I said, I'm not pointing fingers here. Some people just don't have a respect anymore for my decision. That's what I feel.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, actually, the way YouTube works is, dislikes still get like in YouTube. The way YouTube works, like, oh, this has 100 dislikes and 1 like. That means people have been watching the video, so it must be something that people will want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take into account it doesn't take into account if it's positive or negative feedback.
Yeah.
Only the fact that it's feedback. But that's not really related to what we're talking about. Just a fact about YouTube.
I mean, Tom probably wouldn't like me saying this, but I've been talking to him, when I posted that message about leaving, and he admits there's a serious problem with the community, an almost venomous nature I'm trying to solve. That's a quote from him. So even our owner admits that something's wrong. And a video that I watched a while ago from Connor, I can't remember what, but he was talking about the veterans, and he said something along the lines of, there are only a few veterans that I would actually trust, or something like that.
Well, there's only a few veterans to begin with.
Well, yeah. True.
Well, that are still active anyway.
Yeah. Well, some people, Alec might come back someday.
Actually, he was on the Farland server today and yesterday.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's a really trustworthy veteran.
Yeah.
So and Cheesy probably is too.
Mhm.
I've never really had much interaction too much, and well, I have had actually quite a bit, but not like tons of interaction like I've had with you with Cheesy.
Yeah. I mean, as well, like, I'm reading messages from what Tom put, and he's like, why are you blaming blocking them if it's, blocking the members? And, it still comes from the community. He accepts the members, so I have, I can't find out.
Connor does as well now.
Yeah. I can't find out who's disliking the videos. I don't even know if it is blocking the members. I just have a really strong suspicion.
Yeah. I suspect that as well.
Mm-hmm. I'll only have myself to blame if I'm wrong. There's no way to find out, so.
Mm-hmm.
I put to him, because I asked him to remove my name from the member list and the YouTubers list on the site. Because, even if someone looks at the website or members, they can see my YouTube link. They'll probably, do that. And I originally thought, like, Tom's said there's nothing gone on here. But because there's so many dislikes, it can't just be one person creating multiple accounts. because I really don't see why anyone would do that anymore. It's too much of a hassle to go through and create multiple accounts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Set up different email addresses. That you won't want to do that.
No.
And so I thought something's been said, maybe in TeamSpeak. With me leaving, it'd be fresh on the tongues of people that'd be talking about it, and then that's obviously maybe spurred people on to go and watch the videos and dislike it.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to bring up is kind of a reputation of Blockingdom. Well, it's not of. I mean, we're not really well known except for some except for YouTubers like you and Connor and Ichornoid. But like you've heard, you know what happened with Votable, and probably most people who are watching this video know what happened with Votable. Although I don't really see why it should be a secret, so I'll just go ahead and say it. They recently had their UHC Season 3, and, well, I don't need to go into any details, but to say Blockingdom was accused of DDoSing the UHC server with no evidence at all. And, I mean, that can just go back to, I'll say stupidity. Maybe not stupidity, just, I don't know what would be the right word for it. Would really be the right word for it?
Well, yeah, stupidity. I kind of.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not the only thing, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to say that towards anybody, but with that, Blockingdom has a certain the reputation among Votable is so bad anymore.
Yeah.
And before the UHC, it was already pretty bad. We had been banned from a previous UHC.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we're banned from the next one.
But next one, that's just total BS.
I mean, that's Tom. He was saying all this stuff, so he's kind of brought it on himself, really. And not only Tom, a few other members as well.
I'm at fault when it comes to some of the things that have happened as well. But
well, we all are in a way.
Well, I'm pretty much I'm directly at fault for some of the things. But
I said some things, and there was a lot of spam, wasn't there, about hashtag Team Blockingdom, and I was a part of that. I did that sometimes. So I guess we're all at fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Votable thing, just blocking them just seems to be getting a worse and worse reputation as the days go on. And
with what I've seen of Votable, they're not the type of people that they'd probably gladly go around telling about how they were DDoSed by Blockingdom.
Yeah.
Well, may not happily necessarily, but not really being like, oh well, that happened in the past, so we're not going to speak of it anymore.
I mean, how many members are there now recording on the server? Just think about it. Now that I'm gone, probably Connor and maybe mainly just Connor now.
Yeah, Ichornoid hasn't really been active recently. I mean, back months ago, he was in like overproduction mode of Blockingdom videos.
Yeah, and now it's just stopped.
Yeah, stop making videos altogether.
I have days like that when I stop, and because you do want to stop sometimes. You have to take a break because of personal reasons.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I've never tried YouTube is because, like, the effort. I've recorded a few videos, and the effort for me that goes in that's put into them just to even get one video out, because I can't really talk and play games at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not really that great at multitasking, but I somehow get through it. I have done for the past year.
Yeah. If I want to talk, I have to just kind of stop and just stop and say something before I forget what I was going to say, or just not talk at all.
Yeah. I mean, the point I want to make about, people recording on the server is you have to ask, how do the people find, like, new members, how do they find the server? I mean,
most of them have found the server through YouTube.
Yeah, but if there's no active members, how are you gonna... When members recording, how are you gonna find them anymore? They're probably from old videos.
One thing that kind of bothers me is most of the new applications I see, like, why do you want to join this server?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I want to join a respectful a server where all the players are respectful, but not saying anything towards anyone, but there's quite a few disrespectful members.
Yeah. I think, people are going to hate me for saying this, but I think one of the key issues is that there are a lot, most of the members, if, for example, like the JFS, the average age of each member is about maybe 20, 21. Now that's quite high, isn't it, for a server? There are a lot of mature members on there. And then when you go to Blockingdom, the average age is about maybe 13, 14. I mean, there are a few older members, but most of the members are younger.
What, on here?
On Blockingdom, yeah.
Most of them are 14 and 15.
Okay, so maybe 15 or 16 than the average.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of those members won't be as mature as older members, because that's just the way life works. That's how puberty works. So yeah, I'm not trying to point fingers or anything. I'm just saying that, maybe that's a reason to bear in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was annoyed last night with the way it wasn't like, because in terms of the dislikes, there was originally about, when that video was uploaded about a week ago now, there was about three dislikes, and then I went on yesterday and there was another one, and I was just like, nah, I'm not having this, and then I just went off and typed that message in chat, and I'm going to apologise for swearing now, because I'm going to swear. Tom knew I was fucking pissed off last night. I made sure that he knew I was pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's not just a one-off thing. It happened again. I don't know whether it's the same member or what, but I don't know. It just keeps happening. And I said to him, it's probably going to continue happening. I mean, what am I going to do next? I might start receiving death threats and something like that. It could just get worse. And I don't want to be associated with a community that's going to be giving me negative things like that.
Yeah.
It's not good. I mean, you have to admit, some of the members, give negative feedback and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, when on the server, nobody really says anything in chat, and most of the people aren't disrespectful, but a lot of things go on TS and in the Skype chats.
Yeah. A lot of stuff behind the scenes that doesn't really get talked about.
Yeah, and what I said about people wanting to join a respectful server, when looking at videos, it does look like a lot of people are here respectful, but
on the inside, it's
for everything,
quite different.
For everything, if you're watching a show, you never know if you're like on my favorite TV shows, you never know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've ever watched Mythbusters. Great show, but I think they're currently on the last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard rumors that one of the reasons is that Adam and Jamie can't really stand each other anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I know somebody who works, I think who works with as part of the production for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked what he does in his he's a sound technician.
Yeah.
So usually I think he, like, part of his job, if people don't, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but one of the things he does is I don't know the name. I can't remember the name of the band, but he works with the one band to pretty much make them sound good, which kind of is suggested by the name sound technician.
Mm-hmm.
As in, I mean, is it like make sure the sound is sounds right and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The fact that a lot of the stuff that goes up behind the scenes isn't shown, and maybe that has an effect on people when they join. You know, they don't expect that when you join because they're used to seeing a respectful server on the outside, but on the inside it's quite different.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree with that, and I think that may be again down to the majority of people because of the age.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mean like to radicalize the server, go get new, older members. You know, I don't mean that. It's just, I don't know, maybe control the members a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Although it's not even really, it's not even really as it isn't really that much age. It's just kind of maturity.
Yeah. I mean, like Dark, he seems to think he was mature. And
I mean, he's pretty mature, but when it comes to comments he makes and his humor all together, I mean, Derek, if you're watching this, I'm not saying anything about very bad about you. But sometimes his humor is just a little immature. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anymore because I don't.
I'm not. I have to generalize to say Blockingdom because I don't know who it is that's disliking the videos. But a lot of the people on the server are great, and especially when I posted that message last night, I had messages from Abby saying, I'm sorry that members have been doing this. It really isn't fair on you. Ichronoid's been talking to me. Connor's, some great people have been, respectful of that.
Yeah, Ichronoid, Abby, and Connor are all great people to interact with.
I knew that it was talked about on TeamSpeak. I knew that because I poked Tom on TeamSpeak saying that can you remove my name from the website because I don't want to be associated with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew then they would talk about it, so I was expecting messages to be in my Skype.
Yeah,
I saw them all on TeamSpeak on the website, and I was like, yeah, I'm not having this. I want my name removed straight away, and he did that. I mean, it's a shame, I can't deny that I've had, a bad. Well, I can't deny that I've had a good time on the server. That's what I'm trying to say. I've had a great time, especially this whole year. I'd be lying if I said I have a bad time because honestly, it's been good.
Mm-hmm.
But with the good side, there's also a bad side, as we said before, and I think that shows sometimes a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what Tom's going to do about it. I'd love to see where this community goes in the future. I really would. What happens?
Mm-hmm. But I don't really think it's for me. It's not really. What I'm about to say, will probably get me a lot of messages on Skype for other members who watch it, but I don't really have as much fun on here as I used to because again goes back to not. Of course, there's a lot of good members, but the bad members. It only takes sometimes it only takes one.
Yeah.
Part of the community, one person in the community to ruin your experience in the community.
Yeah, I agree.
And when there's more than one person,
yeah,
then
like there was for me, it seems.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems such a small thing to have, to bring up about dislikes, but it's not the dislikes. It's the fact that it's clearly coming from Blockingdom. I've never had, Okay, right. Let me go on my channel.
I wouldn't say it's clearly coming from, but it's a pretty good guess that it's coming from.
Like going on my other videos, there's no dislikes on any other videos from the past about 2 weeks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the JFS, mass amount of dislikes. I mean, how do you explain that? Normal YouTube trolls would just target all your videos.
Yeah, and not just specific videos.
And it's a bit of a coincidence that it's a JFS videos, a new server that I've joined. Just a tad bit of a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't want to point fingers. I don't know who it is, and I can't find out. But there's no way of finding out, and I have to take it out on Blockingdom for that because I don't know who it is. And I said I want to leave because of that. And Tom even wants to know. He messaged me saying, "Oh, I'd really like to know who disliked those videos, but I'm not finding out."
And part of the anonymous, and when you like or dislike videos, especially disliking videos, there's usually I don't even know if this is a real word, an anonymity about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a word.
That could be an invented new word.
If it's not, it should be a word.
Yeah, definitely. Still learning Americanish, it seems.
Yep. Oh yeah, it is a word. Anonymity, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The condition of being anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a word. It's with the way the English language works, it seems like it seemed like it was a word. So
yeah. So there definitely is that in terms of YouTube. And, I can't find out who it is, and it's gonna bug me. I can't find out. Because I really would like to know. I don't want to take it out on Blockingdom, I really don't, but I have to prevent stuff like this from happening. If it is people from Blockingdom, then I'll only have myself. If it isn't, people from Blockingdom, I'll only have myself to blame. Now I can't really blame anyone else. It's just my suspicions. I have no real evidence. I can't get evidence.
Yeah. We shouldn't go right off and say it was definitely all Blockingdom members. No. It's just a good guess that it was.
Yeah. And I was about to say I'm sure, but I know that 90% of the members won't do this sort of thing. I know that for a fact because I've been on there for over a year, and I know a lot of the people on there, and I would hope that a lot of people like me. In the same way that I like them, so I know they wouldn't do that. Tom was saying that it could be new members that get accepted, but even if it is still new members, then you should be controlling them. You shouldn't be allowing those members on the server. There should be more rigorous checks involved. I mean, all it is a simple written words. Anyone can say anything on a keyboard. Now, what does that tell you? Nothing. I mean, maybe like Skype interviews or something. Like with the JFS, the way we get members is we members request people to join, so people that they know join.
I kind of feel like that's how Blockingdom should be. That you have to know somebody to be on.
And that seems to work with the JFS. We're on the snapshots in a minute. We don't have core protect or anything, and not one incident of grief English reported.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, and I imagine that on that type of server you wouldn't need core protect, but I feel with a server like Blockingdom in the age group, core protect is vital because I don't know of anybody specifically, but I imagine there are one or two people that if they found out that they could get away with that kind of stuff, they would go and grief or steal.
Yeah, I mean, like stealing. MJ said this about how do you remember J Dude that was on the server? He stole from MJ's bookshop.
Who?
J Dude.
I don't.
J2525 I think is.
Oh, J25. Yeah. Okay, I remember him. Oh yeah.
It's no secret that he stole from stole from MJ because he said about it in the previous episode of the podcast. So there are people like that, and core protect is essential for that.
Yeah.
And like with the GFS, we take regular backups of the server, but I think it's like every hour there's a backup automatically taken from a plugin. So there is still that. So if anything goes wrong, they can just restore it.
Yeah, but they probably don't imagine that's probably more in the case of like a server crash, not griefing or stealing.
Especially with the snapshots in a minute. That's what we use it for, because there's bugs that go wrong.
Well, that's why Tom has never updated the snapshots.
Yeah.
He did once, and they had to reset and because of something that happened, then they had to reset the map.
Yeah, I mean at the minute our end has been restored about 3 or 4 times, because of the snapshots. The Ender Dragon's there now. You don't have to respawn it; it automatically respawns for some reason. So the end farms got completely destroyed. So that sort of thing happens.
Do
you have anything else to talk about? Anything else to bring up?
Not really.
No, we've been going about half an hour.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm sorry it has to be this way. I didn't want to leave the server on these terms. I really didn't, you know. Hence why, you know, I was trying to justify a reason to leave back in December, and I thought, you know what, I'll just stay in the community. I won't leave completely. I'll just say that I won't be active on the server anymore. I'll still talk to people, and, you know, I'll still be part of the community. And that's changed now. You know, I don't want to be part of the community anymore. It's just, you know, I still want to keep in contact with people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know that there are a lot of good members on the server, and I don't want to take it out on them. It's not fair on them. You know, why should they not be able to talk to me because of people that have, you know, people on the server that have been doing things like this?
I can always talk to you, but...
Yeah. I mean, I know it won't be the same. I won't see people as often, but, you know, like with me and Ikronide, I hope that we'll still, and I've talked to him about this, we'll still be recording Civ, for example.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
And then Portal 2, of course, where...
Yeah.
I think we only have a few test chambers left, but...
Well, I don't have anything else to mention, do you?
No, neither do I.
Well, thank you all very much for watching, and listening, I should say. God, I'm used to recording videos, not...
Yeah, I don't imagine they're gonna sit there and stare at the thumbnail for 35 minutes.
So yeah, thank you all very much for listening to this episode of the podcast, and this will be the last episode, unless of course it does get continued by members of the Blockingdom community, but I won't be there anymore because, like I said, I've left. So
this is kind of a special episode to clear some things up with other Blockingdom members, and I don't really imagine there are many.
I felt like I had to justify my reasons for leaving.
It's a good idea to justify it, because some people might hear rumors and hear like, oh, I heard Dan left because somebody blew up his base or something.
Yeah, I mean, want to leave
that's just taste. And then people might suspect other people in the server, and then all together their opinions of the person who left might change.